2024 is the year when you need a solid strategy. Obviously, having a defined and clear strategy has always been key for any content creator. But now more than ever, you cannot ignore that you need to dedicate time almost every single day, but at least once a month, to define your strategy and really understand what you want to achieve. Some artists will have to work with their team or their management. Other artists will have to handle this on their own if they have more of an entrepreneur mindset. No matter what, you need to have a clear and solid strategy in order to succeed in 2024. And of course, there are different definitions of what is a successful artist, but we're not talking about achieving anything massive. We're just talking about get your stuff out there, being relevant, stand out from all the ocean of mediocrity that I call the noise factor. So right now, the smartest thing that you can do is literally sit down and see if you can forecast what you're going to do next month, next week, next year. Try to get in the mindset of understanding one of the biggest advantages that social media platforms and streaming platforms allow us to have, which is to create a calendar, to create a series of events that ultimately will be what our audience, our fans, our supporters will look to. They will look to see what you're going to achieve in the future. And the time in between is to build the hype, to get their attention, and be ready for when you're going to release your next song, your next album, your next movie, or your next collection of photos. Now, all this, it might sound abstract, but it's actually extremely practical. Because if you can write down a timeline and really stick to it and being consistent, you will see the results. And you will see those results pretty quickly. You won't have to wait a year. You already see improvements in the way your existing fans will engage with you, and also potentially you will start to get more in line with whatever algorithm is following your favorite platform. Talking about strategy, one very important thing is that people consume content differently depending on the app or platform you're using. So if you have a series of videos that you are dropping on TikTok, not necessarily those videos will work on Instagram or will work on YouTube. The audience that is on YouTube is an audience that is mostly used to long form content rather than an audience that is scrolling through Instagram Reels or is looking for a quick gratification video on TikTok. And obviously, in your strategy, you need to take in account that even if you completely hate social media and you think that the online world is a waste of time, you cannot ignore at least one platform. In my opinion, right now, two platforms are definitely the go-to when it comes down for a label, a booking agent, or a manager looking for talent to work with. And those two platforms are Instagram and Spotify. Love it or hate it, Spotify is currently the most relevant music streaming platform in the world, at least in the majority of countries around the world, where record labels, managements, and booking agents are looking for a platform where they can see clear numbers and they can get access to analytics in the back end through, for example, Spotify for Artists app, and understand out of the audience that is on Spotify, the level of engagement with your music. Obviously, if you are on YouTube, then you are a video content creator. Even if you are an artist, you might be releasing videos of live gigs, concerts, behind the scenes, interviews. You can get as creative as you want. And the level of quality in what you do is not really related to the tools, but is related in the way you package your content, in the way you edit your video, in the way you promote your video, and also in the way you describe your video. And I'm talking about single video because not necessarily all the artist wants to dedicate hours and hours out of the week on video content creation. No matter what, having a solid strategy will also help you understand what works for you. Because maybe the best form for you is short videos. Maybe you need to release a lot of shorts on YouTube. Or maybe you're engaging better on TikTok because that format and that type of audience is a better fit to your music, to your art. Whatever choice you end up with, which could be TikTok, Instagram, or any other social media platform, you will have to get an understanding of who is watching, who is listening. And this can only be done consistently if you have a strategy. When you have a strategy, you know already that every single Thursday you're going to do certain type of content, or Fridays you're going to distribute a certain type of video, or it's going to be your music release day. You're going to understand that maybe your audience is not the right type for releasing music every single week. Maybe you need to space out your releases. Maybe you will understand that short videos don't work for you and you need to have long form videos. Maybe your fans and your potential new fans are that type of audience that consume behind the scenes or interviews and wants to get to know you more in depth, and a 30 seconds or 10 seconds video is just not enough. No matter what, I cannot stress enough the fact that in 2024 you cannot ignore the importance of having a solid strategy. If you watched this video on YouTube and you liked and found valuable everything that I said or most of the stuff that I said, please check the description below, where you're going to have a summary of the points that I just covered in this video, and the link to download my ebook 10 Hacks for Content Creators, which is a collection of experiences, real life scenarios. Some are very recent from 2022, 2023. Other ones comes from my 15 years plus experience in the music industry. And I hope that from that short form ebook, you can get a lot of value and you can question what you're doing. Because remember, questions are more important than answers. See you soon.